The United States and the European Union, two of the world's largest economies, are once again on the brink of a trade war. This time, the dispute centers on new tariffs imposed by the US on a range of EU goods. The EU has vowed to retaliate with countermeasures, raising fears of a tit-for-tat escalation that could harm businesses and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic. The trade tensions come at a time of heightened geopolitical uncertainty and economic fragility. The ongoing war in Ukraine, rising inflation and supply chain disruptions have already put a strain on the global economy. A full-blown trade war between the US and the EU would only exacerbate these challenges, potentially leading to slower growth, job losses, and higher prices for consumers. The US has justified its tariffs on the grounds of protecting American jobs and industries from what it perceives as unfair competition from the EU. The tariffs target a range of EU products, including steel, aluminum, and agricultural goods. The US argues that these sectors are particularly vulnerable to foreign competition, and that tariffs are necessary to level the playing field. The EU, however, disputes these claims and argues that the US tariffs are protectionist and violate international trade rules. The EU maintains that its industries operate fairly and that the US tariffs are unjustified. In response to the US tariffs, the EU has announced plans to impose retaliatory tariffs on a range of American goods. These countermeasures are designed to exert economic pressure on the US and discourage further protectionist measures. The EU is also challenging the legality of the US tariffs at the World Trade Organization. The potential impact of the trade dispute on the global economy is significant. The US and the EU are major trading partners, and a trade war between them would have ripple effects around the world. Businesses that rely on cross-border trade would face higher costs and uncertainty, while consumers could see prices for a wide range of goods increase. The path forward for the US-EU trade dispute remains uncertain. Both sides have signaled a willingness to negotiate, but finding a mutually acceptable solution will require compromise. The outcome of the WTO dispute could also play a role in shaping the future of the trade relationship. In the meantime, businesses and consumers on both sides of the Atlantic are left to grapple with the uncertainty and potential economic fallout of the trade war. The hope is that cooler heads will prevail and that a negotiated solution can be found that avoids further escalation and damage to the global economy.